What is up, guys? Liam here, back with a quick episode of Banter Bets and BPL. We've had a little bit of a hiatus recently, so didn't bet last weekend, took the weekend off, just couldn't get it organized in time. But here on a nice Friday morning to take a look at the games. We've got one game today that I do have a nice little bet on, Aston Villa Arsenal, and then we'll look at the rest of the weekend here. So without further ado, let's get into it. My first straight up bet is on a team that is in the news a lot lately. It's Newcastle United against Crystal Palace. Newcastle are 4.0 away from home. I think that's a good number, especially considering, I mean, say what you want about the takeover, but they have these new owners. I feel like the players are playing for their jobs because they know that they're not good enough. They're going to be replaced. Even if they are good enough, they might be replaced by, the next Robinho or whatever is going to happen with that. But I feel like they've got a little bit of motivation to perform. But also, this is the new manager bounce. Steve Bruce just got fired. They're in the bottom three. They need to prove, and this happens often when a manager is replaced, the first game after, the players are up for it because they need to prove that, oh, the manager was just fired. It was his fault. It's not that we're bad players, even though they probably are mostly to blame for where they are in the table. But they want to prove that it was the manager's fault and not them. So I think Newcastle, and as we always say, Newcastle, this is kind of when you want to bet them. When they're on the road, they're big underdogs. They're probably going to be defensive, although we'll see how they play now that Bruce is gone. But they're probably going to be defensive, soak up some pressure, try and hit on the counter. 4.0, I think that's pretty good value. I have done pretty much a 180 on Palace this season. I thought they were going to be quite bad, and they've impressed me a lot. But they've mostly impressed me in games where they are the underdog and they get to, hit on the break and stuff like that. And kind of the expectations aren't for them to take the game to the other team. Like their performance at Tottenham, when they played Brighton, they were really good as well. Kind of playing against teams that are expected to be better than them, but against Newcastle, where they're expected to go out there and get this win and the odds reflect that, I think it's a little bit tougher for them. So I'm going with Newcastle, new manager bounce, even though it's just the guy that promoted from within. I'm going with Newcastle. Just $5 to win at 4.0 could be a nice little one there. Manchester United, Liverpool. Now, I have absolutely no confidence. Sorry, I got the dog running around behind me. I've got absolutely no confidence that Manchester United are going to win this game. Why would you? Based on how they've been playing. But I just can't pass up the fact that I think it's going to be a cagey draw. And I usually bet these big games like this because oftentimes they are cagier than usual. So I've gone with a draw. 3.6 is pretty big number. These teams have, despite the fact that they're supposed to be exciting, they've had a lot of boring games in recent times. So I've got $5 on a draw, would pay $18. I've also got $5 on a 0-0 at 16-1. 17.0 would pay $85. So there's the $10 I'm putting on that game, thinking it's going to be boring. Maybe it won't be. Maybe Liverpool will just kill us. They look a lot better than us, but you never know with these big games. Would be surprised if United kept a clean sheet, but at 17.0, I'm willing to take that risk that, it would be very Manchester United that this is the one that they grind out a clean sheet against Liverpool when they can't keep one against literally any other team that they've played pretty much all season. So that's what we're going with there. Also gone for a draw in West Ham Tottenham. Again, West Ham and Tottenham, pretty even teams at this stage, which is tough to say for Tottenham fans, probably tough to hear. Maybe DC devs out there listening, but if you remember this game last year too, this is where Tottenham started to fall apart under Mourinho when they were 3-0 up. And Dev actually came on the pod and he predicted a first win. He had $50 in it. They're up 3-0 and they lost. They blew it 3-3. I don't know if this will be that high scoring, but Tottenham started to look a little bit better. I was so out on them just a couple weeks ago after the Palace game, after, they were losing pretty much. I think they lost 3 games in a row. They did lose in midweek this week to, I don't even know, in the Europa League, not even the Europa League conference. So that's pretty bad, but the lineup was a purely secondary 11. So I expect them to be fully rested for this one. West Ham's good. might even be better than Tottenham these days. Whisper that one, but it might even be the case. I'm going with a draw. Again, 3.5. I like to bet draws that are two pretty even teams when the number is at least 3.5. I feel like, over the long haul, it's worth it because you're hitting about 1 in 3. So if the odds are 3 and 3.5, that means you're making a little bit of money, small gains, but whatever. So those are the only straight up bets I have. I don't love this slate in terms of straight up bets, but of course I've got 3 winner draw parlays. Let's start off with the tougher one, the big one. And this involves the Friday game. This is Arsenal versus Aston Villa. Aston Villa or draw. Arsenal, you just can't have any confidence in them beating anyone, really. I know they've looked a little better, except for maybe Tottenham when they beat them. But even on Monday, they draw against Crystal Palace. They're just kind of a run-of-the-mill side. And Aston Villa are frisky, especially Aston Villa on the road. Trust me. They beat United a couple weeks ago on the road. At 1.83 to get a win or draw, I have much more confidence in that than actually cheering and hoping for Arsenal to just outright win a game, which is pretty crazy to say at this point, but that's how it is. I've parlayed that with Newcastle or draw. I already spoke about the Newcastle game. It's 1.8 just for them to get a win or draw, even if it wasn't, new manager bounce, new owners, etc. I think 1.8 to get a draw against Crystal Palace isn't a bad odds. So $10 on that parlay pays 33. The next one is my medium one, Burnley or draw at Southampton. Southampton have looked better, but Burnley I still feel like they're a little bit tough to beat. Again, and these teams, when it's 1.8 for Burnley to get a win or draw, it's basically a pick 'em that Burnley get a result or Southampton win. These teams are close enough that I'm almost always going to side with the better odds, just because 2 out of the 3 outcomes you win, and it's pretty much even odds at 1.8. So Burnley wins, which you could see, even though they're not great, or a draw, which you could even see probably more because Burnley can grind it out. And they look decent against Man City. They were creating chances last weekend. Cornier looks pretty good. Obviously, Wood is going to put himself about. You know what you're getting from Burnley. I like when I see Burnley win or draw odds against a team like Southampton who've only won 1 game this season. If you're going to bet on Southampton to win another one, I don't know. I'd much rather bet on the theoretically 2 out of 3 chance that Burnley either wins or draws. So going with Burnley there. Tottenham or draw against West Ham. Again, we just spoke about that. I feel like Tottenham can at least keep this close. I expected them to lose against Aston Villa. My last time betting Tottenham 3 weeks ago now, and they won. So even though I'm not very confident in Tottenham, and I look forward to betting against them when they are big favorites, in this game where I think they're slight underdogs. Yeah, they're slight underdogs. I'm gonna back them to at least get a result. So $10 on that one pays out $28. There's my medium parlay. And then my best chance, according to the odds, is Wolves or draw versus Leeds. Wolves have won 3 in a row. They're on a roll. Leeds are not on a roll. They have not looked good really at all this season. People are saying that their last game against Southampton was the worst game ever under Bielsa. I don't know if that's a bit of an exaggeration. I didn't watch them all championship season, but I heard they were pretty good. So that's a tough look for them. I think Wolves are on it right now, and big win over Aston Villa last week. Pretty lucky, but they got the job done. So we'll go with Wolves again to keep it close on the road. Again, 2 out of the 3 chances. Theoretically, there's only 3 possible results. If you give me 2 of them in a pretty even match, I'm going to take the 2 out of 3, of course. And then I've parlayed that with draw or Leicester against Brentford. Now, Leicester have not been very good in the Prem. They beat United last week, though, so there you go. They have a huge morale-boosting win in midweek. Daka, 4 goals. Incredible that I dropped him from fantasy, but somehow he found his way back. Hopefully he does well for me. I think Brentford are really good. They should have beaten Chelsea last week. They've looked good in every single game. I've made a point of watching them because I've got Tony on my team, and I just really like watching them. So I think they looked really strong, Brentford do. But again, Leicester on the road against a newly promoted team. This is a Leicester team that should be at least getting a result here. I'll go with that. Brentford has found it difficult to score, even though they've been playing really well in all of their games. A lot of games they find it difficult to score. And I don't think you're keeping Daka and Vardy out in the forms that those two are in. So I think Leicester at least score, and Brentford would have to win 2 for me to lose this bet, or would have to score 2 for me to lose this bet. Or, you know, if Leicester score 2, I just think they're going to be able to score enough to at least get a draw in this game. So that's 1.44, that number. So parlay together, Wolves a draw, Leicester a draw, $10 pays out $22. And that's going to do it for me, guys. So we're riding with Newcastle this week to win, United Liverpool to be a 0-0 draw, West Ham to draw against Tottenham, and then we're going with Wolves or draw, Leicester or draw, a few away teams here, Tottenham or draw, Burnley or draw, Aston Villa or draw, Newcastle or draw. So those are the teams we're riding with. Feeling pretty good. I love those winner draw parlays. I just find it's good value, and I feel like we had some success with that this season. Yeah, so there's some bets for this week. Looking forward to getting back into it and making some money for the program. Could be a huge week for the program. So thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you hopefully maybe even Sunday night, a little recap show. Wouldn't mind getting Billy Boy on to Father Bill, the pod father, to talk some stuff over. So it's a shout out to you, Dad. Hopefully get you on soon. And thanks everyone for listening.